Found out my husband was in love with his friend, so I made her my best friend and now he has no one. Plus update. This happened a while back and names are changed for privacy purposes. All ages are at the time it happened. My female 27 husband, male 30, of 5 years, Steve, had a female best friend long before we met. We'll call her Amy. I met Amy pretty early on in the relationship and thought the girl best friend thing was kind of weird, but she seemed cool. I wasn't interested in a friendship between her and I, but I figured we could be civil. Steve had other friends, but more text every now and then friends. Amy was the only one he saw in person often. She even included me on activities occasionally. Movie nights at her house or trips to the park, etc. I felt more secure because of how kind she was. The security washed down the drain every time it sprung up though. Steve always looked at Amy in a way he never looked at me. He seemed so genuinely happy when she talked, more animated and excited, etc. He also tried to get me to cut my hair to be more like hers at one point and dye it a natural color. Amy had shoulder-length brown hair, beautiful on her but not the look for me. I had longish hair that I frequently dyed fun colors. He would also drop plans with me at the drop of the hat if the opportunity to spend time with Amy came up. Not every time, but one that stands out from memory is when we were about to take a trip to visit my family. A full-day trip if we don't stop anywhere on the way. And before we left, he texted Amy to see what she was doing that day. She said nothing, and he insisted we stop by to see her before we go. Amy did not know our plans. We ended up spending the whole day there, so I rescheduled my family visit. If I had been more vocal at the time, maybe it would have been different. But I didn't, and still don't, like arguing in front of people. And bringing it up in front of Amy felt mortifying at the time. I chalked it up to me being too self-conscious and over-worrying. Steve wasn't outright cruel to me or anything, but the little things and comments tore me down. This went on for our whole marriage. One night, Steve and I were drinking at home and watching bad Christmas movies, The Ginger Dead Man and such. I got in my feelings out of nowhere, as I often do when drunk, and asked him if he ever had feelings for Amy. He admitted to it, said he'd tried to get her to be with him multiple times since middle school and she always rejected him. I asked that if she wanted to be together, if he would want to be with her instead of me. He said something along the lines of, "Stop making up hypothetical questions like that. That'll just hurt your feelings." I cried. We fought. I told him to leave and he called Amy and asked her to pick him up. When she got there, I, drunk as a skunk, went outside and in a not friendly way accused her of ruining my marriage knowingly. There was a three-way heated argument that I'm fuzzy on details of because A, I was drunk, B, even if sober, when I'm in a heated argument I tend to erase things, and C, this didn't exactly happen yesterday. At the end of it, Amy ended up taking Steve to his mom's house. She came back to me sitting in the yard crying. This is already too long, so I'll skip ahead a bit. Amy knew vaguely that Steve had feelings for her but thought it was a weird crush that would go away. She liked me, but thought I was cold so didn't try to force a friendship. She didn't know a lot of the stuff Steve had said to me as far as comparing me to her, and was angry about it when she learned. She let him know that she wasn't and never would be interested in him romantically. He said he understood. Steve and I then did a temporary separation that led to divorce. Amy and I became friends. She was and is a great friend to me, almost worth everything Steve put me through. She's the sister I never had. She is still friends with Steve, but in the text every now and then way. I'm more self-confident now. No real long-term relationship since the divorce, but now I'm invited to every movie night, and trivia game and camping trip with Amy, so I'm not at all bothered by the lack of romantic partner. Sorry this was long. A little rushed at the end because I realized it was getting book length. Thanks for reading if you did. If you're married to a Steve, there are better things out there for you, darling. Now for the top comments before the mini update. Honestly don't understand why people marry someone else when they're in love with not the person they're marrying. Boggles my freaking brain. Glad you got out, OP. Would have been heartbreaking at a time, but you got the better outcome with a trusty friend. Fear of being alone and having a placeholder. This was uplifting, surprisingly. So you don't feel bad for Steve then? I kind of feel sorry for him, but not in a way that thinks you should regret anything because it all happened very naturally. I just feel you can't help how you feel, but he was bad at hiding it, if he even tried. To put it the best way I can, the reason I don't feel bad for Steve is because I realized he did this to himself. I loved him. He didn't love me. I left. I'm happier now. Worked on myself and didn't stay miserable. He loved Amy. Amy didn't love him. He clung around and made not only himself miserable, but also me for a while. Did he say he didn't love you? Or did you just interpret his, according to your own story, actual answer of, I've always had feelings for her and I'd want to be with her if we weren't together, as him not caring about you? I think a lot of people fool themselves into thinking they are the only one for their partner, and then make rash decisions when they find out that they've fallen in love before. Everyone settles, and statistically, it's highly probable you'd be someone's first and only choice. But congratulations on letting jealousy of a friendship that has existed for longer than your entire knowledge of this guy's existence mess up a marriage that, judging by your lack of complaints of the contrary, seemed perfectly fine. Oh, and Amy is a horrible friend. I'm laughing at the y'all should be together comments because you kinda do deserve each other. I understand what you mean, and maybe I wasn't super clear. And maybe if I was, you would still have the same opinion. I'm not upset that he had feelings for Amy. Someone else commented, and I agree I can't control who you have feelings for. But I feel the way everything went down. Marrying me without ever telling me he had feelings, constantly putting me as wife on the back burner, making me feel like a second-place trophy even before I knew about his feelings for her, trying to get me to change my looks to be more like her, etc. was not how I deserved to be treated and was scummy looking back. If it was me today, I would never let any of that happen, let alone how long I let it happen. And if Amy had chosen to remain as close to him, I don't know if we would be as close. I want to say yes because of how we are now, but right in the middle of everything, I probably would have just called it a wash and not talked to her. If tomorrow she decides she wants to be close with him again, I wouldn't try to stop her. I wouldn't be around him, even if that makes me seem like a bitter child. It would have to be separate visits at separate times, etc. But I wouldn't want to lose her over it. Did I forget something and write this myself? Lol. I totally had an Amy in my life who was my best friend. Description of us matches perfectly. The hairdo, and I even cut mine to be like her. Unfortunately, my Steve ran away with her after having an affair for like most of our 7-year relationship. LMAO. She turned out to be a massive jerk to me near the end. Neither of them have friends because of what they did. Maybe like 2, but they're also crappy people. I found the gaslighting and the "there's nothing going on between us. Why would you think that? Why would you ask something that'll hurt you?" type answers the freaking worst. I legit thought I was making the whole thing up, and delusional to the point I had schizophrenia as it runs in the family. His friends even got in on it and had his back. Glad I dodged that one. Glad it worked out with you and your Amy. And now for the update. Before the main update, I would like to say thank you to all the supportive comments. And also, I am sorry to anyone with a Steve in their lives, and proud of the others who got rid of them. On to the main update. Steve found this post. Amy sent me screenshots. Not sure how to post them. Someone made a TikTok video and he saw it. Not super eventful, but something new on the old story. I considered deleting it to avoid the drama, but I decided instead to include everyone on the news if they'd like it. I may still delete it if it becomes too much. I just don't want to give him the power over me deleting it. I'm a little frazzled, honestly. Next story. I caught my husband with his best friend, but I won't tell them I know. Original post. My husband, male 28, is wealthy and is providing me, female 30, a great life while I'm studying. I would never have afforded it otherwise. As a matter of fact, I was a barista before I met him and didn't even dare dreaming about starting college. Now I'm in engineering school. He pays for everything. We have a great house. I don't need to do anything but study and have fun. His best friend, female 27 from college, separated from her common-law husband after he cheated on her. She had no place to go, and we have a guest house. I never had anything to worry about with them because they have known each other for ages. I always thought if they wanted, it would have happened already. I was mistaken. I started having a hunch because of nothing in particular, just felt that they changed with each other. So I snuck on them after pretending to go to my mom's. Nobody knows that I know. But I couldn't let him touch me for 2 months, blaming it on the stress from school starting. Now we do get intimate because I don't want him to suspect me or get tired of me. I cried the first time he touched me after I found out. I wanted to vomit, but I blamed it on stress. Now I just let him. I try to think about other things and try to convince myself that it's just physical. I fake it sometimes when he notices me being absent-minded and starts saying, "Baby, come back to me." I'm in a race with time to finish school before he throws me aside for her. I also had IUD in without telling him. Nobody knows, not even my closest friends. Everyone thinks I'm the luckiest woman on earth, so loved and cherished by an amazing, successful husband. Nobody knows that I cry myself to sleep every night. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Wow, I'm so sorry. Thank you. It feels good to tell someone. So do you have an exit plan? Finish school and move to another city. Please be putting money aside as well. You need a nest egg to begin your new life. Other than that, so sorry this happened to you and best wishes for a fabulous new life. So, this woman leaves her husband because he cheated and then turns around and is your husband's mistress? What? I'm so sorry. Send all the positivity your way that I can. I kind of wonder if the mistress's ex actually cheated or if they divorced because of something she did, and she's just saying that to make herself look better. Like maybe the ex caught her cheating by walking in on her or something but doesn't have proof and he decided to divorce her. But maybe then she decided to get a word out first that it was the other way around and that he was the one who cheated, so that no one would believe him when he truthfully said that she cheated on him. That would explain why she's comfortable being someone's mistress now, despite supposedly having been cheated on. Who knows though? For the sake of your education, stay. Try to be strong during those 3 years. Once you can stand on your own feet, leave this man. And don't feel guilty about taking advantage of his money. He's literally cheated on you and still calls you baby, for God's sake. You deserve to get this degree and leave his unfaithful butt. Yes, he still calls me baby. Tells me love you every morning when I go to college and he to work. Text me I miss you from his morning meeting. Calls during lunch and text what I want for dinner before coming home. Like nothing has changed. I can't believe how he can be so two-faced. Is she still in a guest house? Yes, I don't think she's going to leave anytime soon, but she's talking about getting back with her husband if he proposed. 3 years is a long time. I can understand why you're holding out, but your description of your intimate life made me so uncomfortable. I wish you strength, OP. Please remember that nothing is worth your mental health or your sanity. Take stock every few months. Reevaluate where you are and reconsider your options. It may be worth talking to a divorce lawyer so you can weigh up your options. You may be eligible for alimony and might not need to stay with them to continue your education. Are there any grants or scholarships you're entitled to? Please look into other options too. Yeah, I would not underestimate at all what this could do to someone's mental health. This is the sort of thing that can leave long-lasting trauma effects on your nervous system. And that sort of stuff can then take a long time to heal from. And now for the update. Hi everyone. I'm overwhelmed by the people who reached out to me and thank you for all the advice. I might have done something very petty last Tuesday, and I still don't know how to feel about what I did. And what good it did. Actually, no good at all. But I think the comments here triggered something inside me that told me to stop hiding. I will have to wait and see if I blew up my future. God, I hope I didn't. As I said before, maybe not in the post, but in the comments that my husband's friend was trying to reconcile with her husband. She invited him for dinner in her guest house, and after dinner, they asked if they could join us for wine, and my husband was happy to invite them. They stayed for about 2 hours, and I had a lot to drink and wasn't talking a lot. When they came to the subject of reconciliation, I don't know what came over me, but I just mumbled, "Good, I'm happy you two are getting back together so she stops betting my husband." It didn't go well afterwards. My husband looked at me in shock, and I asked him if he thought I didn't know. I've known for months. The friend's husband kept asking, "Is this true? Are you serious? I can't believe you." My husband started crying and a friend started shouting, "You witch," and apologizing to her husband. When her husband left in anger, she rounded on me to yell some more. I told my husband that I was going to bed, and when I wake up tomorrow, I want her to be gone or I'm gone, and left them in the kitchen. I heard them yelling. Yesterday, she was gone. My husband wanted to talk and explained that it was nothing. He never meant to hurt me. He was so stupid not connecting the dots when my mental health was deteriorating. She meant nothing and he regrets it. He told me that he wanted to make it up to me and start couples therapy because we love each other, and we can overcome this with some help. So now he thinks we are going to work on our marriage. I don't know when he is gonna call my bluff, or what happens when his friend is officially single, as I heard that her husband has asked for separation of assets. I hope I didn't ruin everything because of one drunken mistake. You didn't ruin anything. They both ruined your marriage and hers. It's great he wants couples counseling, but you have a right to deny it. I wish you the best of luck. We'll see how much I've ruined. He has moved out to the guest house now because I told him I needed space. I can't control my emotions anymore. They ruined her marriage as well as yours for being a bunch of selfish idiots. It's amazing how you can blame yourself, and the fact that you do, and worry about the damage you may have caused for telling the truth about what they were doing behind your back, tells me you're a good person who probably doesn't stand up for herself enough. Huh, that was awesome. I hate when cheaters say it meant nothing, when that nothing was worth risking their entire marriage and shattering their spouse's heart. Him and his regrets can kick rocks. I think it hurts more when it means nothing. If my husband is going to destroy our relationship, I want it to be for his true love. I think it would be a little easier to accept and move on. I totally disagree with this, and I'm astonished that this is the general consensus here. Why? You really think I would feel better if it means something? Sorry, honey, I cheated on you, but it meant nothing. Sorry, honey, I cheated on you, but it meant so much to me. Yeah, no. I think what they were trying to say is that it's like him saying he broke your heart and betrayed you for no reason. Because it didn't mean anything or it meant nothing, he destroyed your relationship literally over nothing. Which is another way of saying he cared about a relationship less than nothing. Because at least if it was for a good reason like love, that would mean he at least cared about your guys' relationship and had a reason, no matter how crappy the reason is. But to do it for no reason? It's just cruel. Like you tossed away all those years over nothing. Update. Am I the a-hole for skipping my own birthday dinner? Original post. So a little backstory. I, 25 female, and my husband Vernon, 36, have been married for 5 years. It was arranged by my grandfather and his uncle. We are not Americans, so it's common here. Vernon wasn't too thrilled about the marriage, and he made it very clear because he was already in a relationship with Felicity, 30s female. Long story short, Vernon, his family, and Felicity did their best to make my life hell, while my dumb self was stuck on the idea that one day he might change. About 3 years ago, I found out I was pregnant and I was excited, but he wasn't. Given we only been intimate a handful of times before that, so he got into his head that it wasn't his. The baby had complications and I had to get a medical abortion. Not once did he or his family came to the hospital. And I guess that opened my eyes and I just stopped caring. I stopped trying. Then early last year, he suddenly started caring, coming home early, calling me, bringing me flowers, and it was quite uncomfortable for me. Then he tells me that he's had a change of heart and wants to try to better our marriage because he's developed feelings for me? It's all fishy, to be honestly. I wouldn't trust this man as far as I can throw him. He's been doing these little things, and I just can't help but think there's a joke coming at my expense. Now on to the story. It was my birthday last weekend, and Vernon told me his family was hosting me a birthday dinner. I told him I wasn't comfortable with that, and the last time I was at his parents', they literally told me my baby's complications were my fault, and kicked me out because Felicity was uncomfortable. Not to mention that they haven't apologized, just started acting friendly. I kept telling him no, but he kept insisting. Then I let it go, and I assumed that was that. So I made plans and went out with my mom and cousins, and he starts calling me asking me where I am. I tell him, and he tells me that he's waiting for me. What? Long story short, his family is mad that I skipped, because they apparently wanted to apologize so that we could move forward. And Vernon keeps saying he understands why I did it, but he has been apologizing for everything and nothing. And last night, Felicity called to cuss me out because they left her high and dry, and Vernon wants nothing to do with her. So maybe they did want to apologize. I thought I was in the right, but now even my cousins are telling me I was wrong for skipping, and now I'm doubting myself. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Did I get this right? Arranged marriage, but your husband already had a girlfriend? He treats you poorly and doesn't believe this kid is his? I know you lost it, but it's still sad. You and his family don't get along. I hope you can get out and find someone who truly loves you, not a-hole. If it was arranged, that may not be an option. That is what makes this much more sad. Info cause I'm nosy. Why doesn't his family like you, or at least tolerate you, if they are the ones who made the arrangements? Was it that the uncle was the patriarch and his parents felt they had no choice but to go along? Like, what is their endgame? To get you to call quits so it won't be their son's fault the marriage failed? Yes, his uncle is the head of the family and doesn't like Felicity because she's not from our culture. Vernon didn't go against his uncle because it would lead to his shunning. Marrying me had benefits, such as the house we live in and a piece of land in the farming areas. So I guess that was it. His uncle mentioned to the family that the only way the marriage would end was if I was to initiate it. I didn't know about any of this, and everything has started making more sense now. Not a-hole. Even if they were sincere, a birthday party is not the place to apologize. I understand your hesitation, as that's perfect place for ambush. They can come to you and apologize if that was their intent. Also, block the girlfriend. Why was she still around if he's now married? He's love bombing you. Find out why. I ask, and all he says is he wants to make amends and make up for lost times. Like that's my fault. Felicity is blocked and will stay so. No, he wants something. Don't trust him. See if there's any way out from this situation. Maybe a women group that can help you escape. Now for the first update. Wow, I wasn't expecting this to get as much attention as it has. I am overwhelmed, and I'm sorry if I don't manage to reply to everyone. Thank you for your kind words and advice. Some more info on my family because I saw repeating questions in the comments. My family didn't know about most of what was going on, as I chose to not tell them. But they still found out, and are still willing to handle the effects of me leaving. But I can't let them do that. Everyone is happy and this would disrupt their lives greatly. I can't bring myself to do that, especially to my little nieces. A few hours after I made the post, I decided to have a talk with Vernon after I came home from work. It went somewhat okay. I followed some advice in the comments about starting over on my terms. I asked him questions I needed answers to, and he gave me answers. I wasn't completely satisfied, but it's a start. I told him I would give our marriage a chance, but he had to know that he was completely done with Felicity and would be completely on board with this. I told him to stop with the love bombing because it was making me uncomfortable. Told him I would absolutely not be having kids in the near future, and told him I was in no way ready to be his wife and we would continue with our separate rooms. Surprisingly, he was on board with all of this and said that he wasn't a boy anymore and that he was getting older and he needed to sort himself out and make things right. I asked him if he only had a change of heart because he wanted me to take care of him in his old age, and he said no. He said he realized that Felicity isn't what he's always wanted and started seeing her manipulative, toxic ways. His words. He said he was willing to put the house in only my name entirely, as it's currently 40% mine, as a way of showing that he is all in and would mess up if I give us a second chance. He said he was willing to give me as much space as I need. He said he'll have a word with his family about me needing time and space and taking baby steps. Honestly, I don't know where this will go at this point. I don't know the direction in which we are headed, but I'm willing to try so I can have a free conscience. I've started making a backup plan to leave, but that's in the worst case scenario. I'll update if anything significant happens. Now for the second update 3 weeks later. Hey everyone! So a few things happened that I thought you all needed to know. First off, I'd like to thank everyone for your care and support. I never thought I'd cry after reading words, but you have no idea how much courage your kind words have given me. I told Vernon to go through with the transferring of the house in my name, and he did. I guess he knew he would be getting more money, but now I own the house. Still, nobody was telling me anything about the 180 change. So I decided to go to Felicity, which is stupid, I know, but she was the only one who was willing to give me any information, since she's spiteful, and I think I got what I needed. It's not much, but it's enough to cement my decision. Turns out, Felicity had her womb removed when she was younger, so she can't give Vernon children, and the whole family found out and turned against her. The uncle has been speaking of retiring, and Vernon has been at war with uncle's sons to either take over the business or become one of the decision makers, and a child would guarantee that he would be given a large sum of the company's shares that would be in his name and a child's. And since Felicity couldn't give him one, I was the solution. Felicity told me as much as she knew, so I went to one of Vernon's cousins, I confronted him about what Felicity said, and after a heated back and forth, he finally confirmed everything. I don't know why, but that hurt. Even though I knew it was too good to be true, I still held on to hope that maybe I was wrong. After conversation, I decided to play along until I could get out. He completely cut off Felicity, and it's scary just how much he's acting like she never existed. I put in a transfer to a city 12 hours away from here. My head teacher knows my situation and swore not to tell them. I brought up moving to my family, and majority of them said I'd be selfish if I did that, and their whole lives are here and all that. But honestly, I feel I should put myself first, but told them it was just a thought and that I would never do that. My mom and brother have been my biggest support system, and I'm taking them with me. My cousin is moving with my little nieces to his wife's city. So that's that. I found a house where my mom, brother, 2 cousins, and I will stay. I then listed the house for sale on a private auction page. This will cause a big blowout, but I won't be here for it, so lol. I'll leave this place in about 40 days, and the most tiring thing is to get my affairs in order without raising suspicion. I refused to be intimate with Vernon and told him I wasn't ready. He told me we'll work on my time, but I see him getting more and more frustrated each day. Even though I'm scared for myself and my family and what they will do when they find out, I've decided to leave and not changing my mind. I'm still young, and I honestly don't want to end up like my mother, in a loveless marriage with a cheating alcoholic. It took the words of internet strangers for me to realize that, and I'm so grateful. Sorry if this is all over the place. I'll update if anything changes. Now for more comments before the last update. I'm so glad you have a plan to get out. One more suggestion I will make, and it may sound absolutely horrible, but if you can get on some kind of birth control in case Vernon does the absolutely worst thing a man can do to a woman, you've got some protection from pregnancy. Stay safe, OP. Oh, wow. I have to totally agree with this. Please take any and all precautions to prevent pregnancy. If a child is all that your husband is after, he may do the unthinkable to get one. I'm not sure what country you are in, but he may have a say over your future if you do get pregnant. Be careful, and please update when you are safely away. Go and save yourself and your loved ones, OP. With the latest info you've found, I think down the road when Vernon has secured his wealth/inheritance, there is very high possibility Felicity will come back into the picture, and you will be removed or be in a loveless marriage, and a third wheel in your own marriage. Stay safe. Now for the last update after 2 more weeks. Hello again. I didn't think I would be making an update this soon, but I messed up big time. I've never been so scared in my life. So a couple of days after I made last update, my sister-in-law found a post and showed it to Vernon. I knew my time was up, that I had to make a move. So I let my mom and brother know that we had to be ready to leave at any moment. Vernon was not happy, and he made it very clear. He told me we were to have a family meeting the next day, and I just knew we had to get out. When he went to attend evening prayers, I gathered all important belongings I had and told mom and brother to get ready because we had to leave. I gave them the information they needed to leave in case I didn't make it. We had a meeting in the afternoon and it wasn't pretty. The uncle came, and he was angry that I brought shame to the family with my actions, and everyone took that as a green light. I ended up with a split lip and a dislocated shoulder and a few broken ribs, but at least I didn't go down without a fight. Looking back, I feel proud of myself. I spoke up for myself. I defended myself and the people I love. I honestly thought I wasn't going to come out alive. I couldn't breathe properly. I couldn't move, and for a while I just thought of ending myself because I was in so much pain. But my mom and brother managed to get me out. I don't know how. I don't remember a lot because my memory became foggy, but I got out and I'm alive. We reached our new home. My family's still adjusting and I'm still healing. I hope I heal in time to start working. We are safe, and even though I'm scared that they might find us, I'm relieved and I feel free. I just thought I'd let everyone know how I'm doing. A lot has happened in so little time that sometimes I feel like it's a dream and I'll snap back to reality. I won't say much, and I don't think I'll make more posts after this one. Thank you all. Thank you to everyone who supported me. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for making me realize that I deserved more, that I am worth more. To all the women that shared their stories with me, you all gave me the courage that I needed to stand up for myself. No words can ever express my gratitude to you internet strangers. Also, thank you to the gentleman who asked me out to lunch, lol. Grace, I know you'll see this. I don't hate you. Just know that you're a woman and you'll also get married, but I hope your husband's family doesn't treat you the way you treated me. I wish I could be there to see the look on all your faces when the new owner of the house comes and kicks your beloved brother out of his place. I wish you everything you deserve in all your future endeavors. F you, Grace. I hope you and your family get everything you guys deserve. I'm so happy Opie is out and has supportive people around her. Hopefully she never has to deal with ex or his garbage family again. F that entire family. So nice to not have to follow AITA rules about civility, but there's nothing civil that can be said about most people involved in a situation like this. I hope Opie and her family are able to stay safe from those monsters. I'm a petty person, so I'm hoping that Opie at some point can get some revenge, like organize a meeting for that uncle or give him diarrhea or some such. I remember reading that last post and being terrified that this would happen. Like the most dangerous time with an abuser is when you leave, and it's not over. I wish Opie all the best and pray for her safety. So proud that she was able to get out, and I hope she presses charges against the monster for what he did to her. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my younger brother that I'm not his dad? I'm 19 and my younger brother, we'll call Ed, is 6. My father, 49, has been in and out of our lives for the past 6 years. He was working abroad and providing for us during that time. But us kids have slowly started to forget his presence around the house. Then in 2021, he had a huge fight with my mother, 48, and decided to leave us under the guise of visiting his relative's funeral, and we haven't seen him since. It's been very tough for my mother, who's tried her utmost best to make the best of such an awful situation for us kids without much help. So me and my sibling, who are mostly a bunch of teens, have tried our best to make things generally easier for her, including assisting in raising Ed. Ed always used to call me by my name, but recently, like a few months ago, he's picked up the habit of calling me Dad. It felt very awkward at first, but after some thought, I figured it was an honest mistake. I didn't pay much attention to it. But it didn't stop there. Ed started calling me Dad more, whether it was in private or whether it was in front of the family, and I was extremely confused. So earlier this afternoon, I picked him up from his school. When we reached home, I went to my mother and jokingly said, "This random child has been following me the entire time. I think he's lost." We have a way of joking that I think is pretty wholesome. I'm sure he enjoys it too. And then playfully tugged me on the arm and said, "How dare you say that? I'm your son." Now here's where I might be the a-hole. I didn't want him to grow up believing that I was something I'm not. So I gently responded, "Ed, I'm not your dad. I'm your older brother, okay? We share the same mother." Ed replied, "You're my dad now, because my real dad is never coming back." Hearing that tore my heart, and I didn't know how to respond. So I hugged him, but he didn't seem too happy and left. My mother pulled me aside later and told me that I shouldn't have said what I said, and that I have hurt his feelings. I tried to explain that as much as I understand his feelings, I wanted him to know who we truly are to each other. I didn't want to devastate him later in life. I also mentioned how awkward it made me feel. She said that maybe Ed is calling me Dad not because I'm his actual father, but maybe because I'm one of the safest masculine examples he's got. Upon reflection, I'm starting to feel very guilty about what I did. I think my mother is right. Perhaps I was a little too harsh. I need some people to talk sense into me. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. While he may see you as a father figure, it's okay that you don't want the title. Social-wise, calling a 19-year-old dad and a 48-year-old mom could also be very awkward. Your mother should look into family counseling, or even individual for your brother. That's a heavy load for you all. Never mind when the 19-year-old also calls her mom. Mom likely won't always be there. For example, if it's Opie taking his brother to the park alone. Yeah, but sometimes she will, and in those situations, things can get very awkward. Also, a 6-year-old and a 19-year-old can still be a hard situation to deal with if there are unpleasant people around that would judge Opie because they assume he is a teen dad. To be fair, the only thing that's saving me from that are my looks. I look like in my late 20s, so it's nothing crazy when people see me take my little brother out for ice cream, for example. My 15-year-old brother even told me that his classmates assumed I was his dad upon first sight. Update. I've just found out something about my male 26 girlfriend, female 26 of 3 years, and it's changed my whole view of her and our relationship. Original post. This is made worse by the fact that even though we've only been in a relationship for 3 years, we've known each other since we were 3 years old and been best friends our whole lives. I bumped into her ex-boyfriend on a night out, who she was with before me when we were in college. They dated for about a year and a half, and we were friendly enough, I guess, but I didn't see or talk to him once they split up. It was pretty awkward, but I told him I was in a relationship with her. He was surprised and responded by asking if she ever told me the reason that they had broken up. I remember her being upset and saying he had dumped her, but that's about it. He told me the real reason was that he caught her cheating on him with one of my other good friends. This has completely shocked me, that I'm not sure how to feel. I'm still good friends with the guy, and I never had any idea that this happened. The ex told me he started suspecting something was going on, and snooped on her phone expecting to find out it was me she was cheating with, but found all the messages and pictures/videos between her and my friend. I don't know how they could have kept this from me, and now all these things are going through my head. The ex said when he found out that they had been sleeping together for at least a month, but I have no idea how long it went on for. I know this happened before we got together, but the fact that they never told me and fact that she has cheated has really messed with me. I haven't been able to talk to her about it yet, but she knows something is up, so it's coming. Any advice on how I should approach this? Now for the top advice before reading the update. If it was anyone else she cheated with, I'd be leery, but fine. With a good friend of yours? And neither of them ever told you that they used to bump uglies on a regular? That's fishy AF. I know, that's why I'm kind of freaking out. I would tell her calmly that you bumped into the ex and tell her what he said. It's best to get the conversation out in the open. He could be lying for all you know and be trying to stir things between you. Tread carefully. If you go into the conversation too defensive, then I can see it won't go well, especially if the ex is lying. Just stay calm. Okay, thanks. Ask the friend first, more likely to get a direct answer. He might even have evidence still. This gets my vote. He's less likely to have a reason to lie, unless it's still going on. He probably hasn't said anything to OP before now because he's been asked not to by the girlfriend. Question. If you are good friends with this other guy, I assume you all still hang out. Are you worried because your friend and her still see each other regularly? Are you concerned she may hook up with him again? Yes, I'm still good friends with him. I'd be lying if I said I'm not worried about them seeing each other regularly, but I think because of all the unknowns. If they had a relationship I know nothing about, how long did it go on for? And what feelings did they have for each other? If she cheated on her ex, she must have liked my friend enough to do that. I'd be most worried that she potentially had a relationship with one of your good friends, and neither of them brought it up. If they did hook up, it seems fishy they wouldn't raise it, and to me adds truth to her ex's story. Why else hide it? As others suggested, you have a valid reason to bring it up, running into her ex. Just do it calmly without accusing, and have an open mind. Hey OP, an undisclosed prior relationship with one of your good friends is a big red flag if true. You need to have a conversation with your friend right away. Is it true? If so, why didn't he tell you? What was their timeline of interaction? How did it start and end? When you talk to her, ask her the same questions. Compare their answers. If they both deny, then it's possible that the ex is some psycho, but highly unlikely given that he ended the relationship with her. If she was a cheater, then that is red flag number 2. While people can grow, the issue with cheaters is generally their need for validation and lack of respect for relationships and their partner. She's already showing a respect issue through a non-disclosure. Don't be surprised if you find out they're still in contact with each other. Sorry for the situation, hoping for the best for you. Edit. Thanks everyone for your advice. Sorry I haven't been able to respond to everyone either, but I've read every comment. I've decided I'm just going to talk to her about it this weekend. Even if there is something she hasn't told me in the past, I don't think she will be able to lie to my face if I ask her about it. Now for the update. Just wanted to start by thanking everyone for their responses. And sorry haven't responded to everyone, but it's a rough week. I spoke to my girlfriend and she confirmed that they were sleeping together, and she did cheat on her ex with him. She said it wasn't a good period of her life and things weren't great in her relationship, but that's no excuse to do what she did. She never told anybody because she was embarrassed, and then when the prospect of us being together happened, she was afraid I would reject her if I knew. The worst part is that she admitted that about 5 or 6 months into our relationship after a night out, my friend started messaging her and things got inappropriate. By inappropriate, she meant that my friend tried to get her to invite him over. She said no, but they did talk about their time together, which was definitely messed up. The next morning, she messaged him and told him not to contact her again, and there has been nothing since. She said she's deleted everything, but she can probably recover the messages to prove she's telling the truth, but that some of the stuff will be hurtful for me to read. I don't know if I want to read that. So that's it. My friend is a complete piece of trash, and I'll be having nothing more to do with him. I don't know what I'm going to do about her. Our families are very close, and are both devastated as well. The whole thing is a freaking mess. For the sake of clarity, I take her up on reading those messages. Better to get the whole picture before deciding. This is the best response. She's only feeding him half-truths in the hopes he just takes her word for it. Guarantee she sends spicy photos, etc. too. She's trickle-truthing him. He better expose her and his friend and leave that circus behind. Opie doesn't want the truth. He wants a piece so he can continue the illusion that she's true blue. If he wanted the truth, he wouldn't have run straight to her and swallowed whatever she told him on the spot with zero proof. Personally, I wouldn't be able to trust a partner who cheated on her previous ex with someone who I considered a friend, then lied about the breakup with her previous ex, and for 3 years, kept that information hidden. What happens the next time she supposedly hits a rough patch in her life, or when things in your relationship aren't great in her view? Exactly. I don't believe the whole once a cheater, always a cheater thing. But if your previous relationship ended based on cheating, own it. Don't hide it. Hiding that stuff means that you never actually changed. Agreed. Context and getting the full story is the most important. If they were upfront with you about the past cheating, including the uncomfortable details, it bodes way better than them not telling you about it, and you finding out later. Read it. I think she is trying to set you up to not read it. Call the bluff. It will hurt, but you need all the facts before you make a decision. But at this point, I don't see how you can trust her at all. Or just quit the relationship. If there's no trust, what's the point? Opie, there are still plenty of single, kind, and attractive women out there your age. If you keep living like this, you'll end up a drug addict hiding from his own mind. Even if Opie is willing to work past her lying about cheating on her ex and lying to him all these years, she still let him continue to be friends with an a-hole that was trying to stab him in the back, to do him harm, all for the sake of covering her own back. Of course, she was afraid of how you would judge her. Of course, she was worried that you would break up with her. But instead of doing the right thing, she doubled down and made things much worse by creating new lies of omission, and again, all for the purpose of protecting herself over you. The drama and deceit of cheating on her ex didn't end with him. It continued with you. End it. It'll be painful, but not as painful as looking in her face every day and remembering the lengths she went to lie to you and protect herself over you. Last story. Found videos of my 23 male girlfriend, 21 female of 3 years, doing it with her guy best friend. Not really sure where to start. My girlfriend and I met at a fast food restaurant back before COVID happened. When COVID happened, we both spent the entirety of 2020 at home together, which allowed us to bond at a much faster rate than most, I guess. We were together 24/7, and we both loved it and never got sick of each other. She was my first love, and we both made it known early on to commit to each other and never go through each other's phones. We talked about our future plans and our intimate life and what we liked. We told each other everything. She went as far as to tell me how many people she had slept with in the past, and I witnessed her cut contact with any people in her past which tried to hit her up. She told me about this one guy friend and how they had slept together one time, but it was only a one-time thing. Okay, cool, but I made it known I didn't really feel comfortable with her keeping in contact with him. And she said she didn't want to if it was making me uncomfortable, so she started ignoring him. I even witnessed him hitting her up and her telling him to stop talking to her. Fast forward through an insane amount of good memories made, music listened to together, trips taken together, thousands of pictures between the two of us, lots and lots of heartfelt gifts from her to me, such as DIY boxes you see on TikTok of pictures and candy and stuff like that. She even spent hours coloring a picture and wrote a long message on the back about how she felt about me. And when she gave it to me, told me how each of the colors had a meaning. I cried tears of joy because the fact she put in so much work and thought into my gifts. It's hitting me hard because I never really went as far or as thoughtful as she did when it came to gifts. We never really fought at all. Of course, the occasional argument here and there, and some were worse than others, but I just knew she was going to be the one I married. We told each other countless times how we wanted to get married one day and grow old together and take care of each other until the end of our days. She seemed so genuinely happy, and I actually was genuinely happy. She was my everything. We were both super clingy, so the fact we could just lay there together and be content was perfect. I never caught her lying to me throughout the whole relationship. Ever. So the other night, I go over to her place and she lies about something small that I knew she was lying about. I committed to the argument because I knew she was lying. And then I started to wonder, if she lied about something small, then what else is she lying about? I immediately asked to see her phone. And when I loaded up Snapchat, I saw where a month ago she had received a message from the guy best friend. I asked, "You still talk to him?" She said, "No, not really. He always texts me, but I ignore him." I clicked on the profile and scrolled down to the saved pictures, and I was frozen. Pictures of her face and the previews of saved. I viewed all saved, and there it was. Recent spicy photos and sexy pictures from her to him. My body felt like a wave of vibrations covered me from head to toe. I was in complete shock. I couldn't believe it. I asked, "What are all these?" She said, "I'm so sorry, babe. I was drunk. I didn't mean to." I scrolled some more and found a recent video of him doing her from the back, and her just laying there in the bed after it was finished. I was traumatized. I didn't know what to say or do. I stayed calm throughout the whole thing, I guess, because of the shock. But she was bawling the whole time saying she didn't mean to, and she was drunk and this and that. She said she thought she was just going over there to smoke, but he started coming on to her and it just happened. I asked why she would even put herself in that situation to begin with, and why she didn't stop it when or before it was starting. I also kept asking why she kept in contact with him this whole time, and she just said because she thought he was a good friend to talk to whenever I wasn't around, which was rare since we were together so much. I didn't care anymore. We were done. I stayed for a while just trying to figure out why she would do this, and she never tried to blame it on me. She said it was her own fault, and that she ruined everything and that she feels like a terrible human being. Fast forward a couple days, the anxiety is starting to hit me extremely hard. All throughout the day, just constant anxiety. I've went through and hid all pictures of us. I put away the gift she gave me. I deleted so many songs that I'll probably never be able to listen to again because it triggers my anxiety. I've never had anxiety prior to this. I love this girl with everything I had, and she betrayed me through all of our happy and sad memories. I have called her a couple of times over the past couple of days just to try and get more clarity. And now she says it's multiple small things that added up to her doing it, such as me not hyping her up as much as I used to. I just want to call her and just hear her voice, and I don't know why. I feel empty and sad with no motivation to do anything. Not my business, my job, my YouTube channel, none of it. I don't know what to do because I loved her so much, but the fact she chose to keep in contact with him and even go as far as to hook up with him destroyed me. Now for the advice. Yeah, man, don't listen to her. She's just lying to save face. She cheated on you, and you should dump her and move on. I already dumped her. It's just the moving on part I'm stuck on. She's been my whole world for the past 3 years. I don't know why I want to even talk to her or even stay friends. I really don't know. Nah, just go full no contact. She betrayed your trust. You already know you can never trust her again, and that she has no problems with lying to your face. It shows she has no respect for other people, and she's a crappy person that you shouldn't want to affiliate yourself with. As far as moving on goes, it gets better with time. I recommend surrounding yourself with friends and family for the next few weeks to avoid spending time alone with your thoughts. Eventually, when you are in a future relationship, you will look back on this and think, thank God that happened and I was able to split up with her, because I would have never met this awesome person that I love so much. I know from experience. Sorry, my man. This sucks. It is perhaps the double-edged sword of knowing versus not knowing the details when you find out. My advice how to handle this is to treat it as you would a death in your family or friends. You are allowed to mourn and cry and rage and be empty because something you had and someone you loved is permanently dead. And so many of the things you've done and love are tied intimately to that experience. In truth, your brain handles breakups the same way as it does death, grieving along the same neutral pathways. And it's entirely normal, perhaps even important, to mourn this relationship. And part of mourning is letting go. Your relationship and the person you thought she was are dead and buried, and you have to treat them like they are. If you keep those threads going, the ghost of this relationship will eat you alive. What's important is that, like all momentous momentary trauma, it creates a permanent soreness. And right now, you feel it all over. It will be the first thing you think of when you wake up, and the last thing you think of before you go to sleep. The only goal is to let these feelings flow through you, and to get to the point where it's the second thing in the morning and the second to last at night. Doing that is hard, because wallowing is easier. It's important for you to force yourself to do things. To eat, to go to work, to hang out with friends, to do the things that made you happy even before she came along, and to see, slowly, if the things you found together are things you can enjoy by yourself. Doing so gives you a way out of the rut. Things to focus on that aren't mourning, that pull your eyes away from the images in your head. And in the hope of saving a fellow young man from the tragedy of young men, like being lonely and not feeling their feelings, be aware that when something hits that soreness again, it will hurt, possibly as bad as it does now. That soreness is going to be with you for the rest of your days. And that's okay, because it'll become just as much a part of you as every happy, awkward, or terrible story you've lived, or any scrape or bruise or break you've experienced. The benefit of time is that it expands the surface of your experiences and makes the sore spot smaller and smaller every day by comparison. Good luck. Long is the road and hard that out of darkness leads up to the light.